Clint Barton unknowingly saves a young Kate Bishop, inspiring her to train and follow...
Unknowingly saves?
Unknowingly.
Oh, I thought you said annoyingly. It sounded like annoyingly. I was like, what was annoying about that? Did you really not like her that much?
No, I loved Kate.
Maybe you should take that from the top.
God. The blooper reel. Here we come.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume Blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I'm Spencer Williams. Elizabeth, happy Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day you're listening to this.
Yeah. Happy. Just
happy.
Still here.
Everything's happy. Just don't turn on the news. Yeah. How are you, Elizabeth? How have you been?
I'm good. I got to go to the theaters twice this week.
Ooh.
Which was nice.
Did you see that scary movie, The Cursed?
No.
Oh, don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I saw Marry Me. I definitely saw that.
Oh, that's cute.
And then, oh my gosh, I went with my dad and my brother to go see this other movie.
Wow, we're off to a great start.
The heck? My memory. I'm going to be like that old person in the retirement home who's like, let me tell you a story, and then not be able to remember any of the details.
That's essentially the basis of this podcast.
True. I saw Death on the Nile as well.
Oh,
that was the other thing I saw.
Okay, so how was it? We've been talking about this for a while.
It was good. I really liked it. I get the feeling they cut around certain characters who ended up being bad guys anyway. Yeah. So.
Oh, well.
All for the
perfectly.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie had an interesting cast, but the actual movie still looked good, yeah. So I get it.
Oh, the actual movie was very good. I mean, it's Kenneth Branagh's the main character, then he was also one of the writers and a director. So, of course it was good.
Oh, the show I started this week?
Ooh, what?
Was Peacemaker. That show is so good.
I can't wait to start that. I have to finish Heels, and then I'm going to watch that.
Okay, yeah. Add that to your list. Peacemaker's super good.
I can't
Very
wait.
funny. John Cena is just, I never thought I'd be saying this, but he's just so great.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought I'd say, what did I see him in years ago where I was like, oh, he's not half bad. I think it was Cock Blockers.
Yeah, Cock Blockers is
funny. Me and Addie went to go see that because we were like, we want to go to the movies. We don't really care what it is. And we saw them. We were like, oh, he's good. No. That wasn't half bad.
Yeah, no, John Cena deserves some more credit. Yeah, so good. The playlist is my shower playlist right now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
nice.
we gotta get into it.
Wow, you must really like it if it made it into a playlist of yours.
Yeah, well, it's all 80s hairband type music, which that's very me.
That is very you. That is very you.
Speaking of cheesy superheroes, what are we watching this week?
Spencer, this week we watched Hawkeye.
Yay.
Talk about pleasantly surprised.
Right. Oh my gosh. This show is so good. And when we got word of the show coming out, I think everyone was kind of like, Hawkeye, I don't know. And it was so good.
I know. I knew it was going to be good because Disney hasn't put out anything bad.
That's true. They have a very good track record right now.
Yeah, they haven't put out anything bad, but I was just I didn't know what it was going to be about because I just don't. I'm like, Hawkeye's a side character. I thought the fact that they even gave him a family was a big step forward for him.
No, but I mean, yeah, I'm really excited about all these shows, really, leaning on the comics, because Hawkeye is such a great character in the comics, and they finally embraced it with the costumes and the mannerisms and the characters they add in. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Why don't you get into a summary?
Okay. For Hawkeye, during the battle for New York City against Loki and the Chitauri, Clint Barton unknowingly saves a young Kate Bishop, inspiring her to train and follow in the footsteps of Hawkeye. Many years later...
Unknowingly saves?
Unknowingly.
Oh, I thought you said annoyingly. Sounded like annoyingly. I was like, what was annoying about that? Did you really not like her that much?
No, I loved Kate.
Maybe you should take that from the top.
Oh, God. The blooper reel. Here we come. Okay, let me try again. Daniel's shaking his head. During the battle for New York City against Loki and the Shatari, Clint Barton unknowingly saves a young Kate Bishop, inspiring her to train and follow in the footsteps of Hawkeye. Many years later, when their paths cross again, Kate gets the chance to team up with Clint and become the same hero she saw in him all those years ago. And that is Hawkeye.
If you haven't seen Hawkeye yet, stop right here. Go watch it. It's worth it. It's not very long either. So.
No, it's so good. And it's just, it's funny. It brings you so much joy. You're going to love it.
Short and sweet. It'll be great. What was also great? The wardrobe. Let's go behind the wardrobe that was brought to us by executive producer Trin Tran, directors Bert and Birdie, no last name, and our fabulous costume designer, Michael Crow, which you will know his work from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that's about it, because he's a little bit new to being a costume designer, but he has had a lot of success as a assistant costume designer on movies like Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Captain America Civil War, the Sleepy Hollow TV show. He's also been a costumer on shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Glee, and Bombshell. So he's working. We just haven't seen a lot of his work before.
He has like the dream job. All these projects he's worked on. Like, could you imagine?
Yeah. I was like, because I looked at his IMDb just for like the costume designer section. And I was like, man, like aside from Falcon and Winter Soldier, he hasn't like really done anything. Like, how did he get this? But obviously he got it working on all of these, Marvel movies. He was an obvious choice when they went to the TV shows.
Yeah, he's going to blow up one day. He's going to be doing some real serious stuff in the coming, decade.
Oh, yeah. Between Hawkeye, Falcon, and Winter Soldier, he's set up for big things. I'm very excited about it. And I'm excited just to get into the show, Spencer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so ready. I'm going to go put some arrows in my quiver and
Got some trick arrows?
Yeah, some trick arrows and a box of pizza.
Sounds perfect. Where's the dog? We'll be right back. Are you ready to get into episode 1, Never Meet Your Heroes?
I'm ready. I love this episode. Let's do it.
It was so good. So in this first episode, we have young Kate is saved by Hawkeye during the battle for New York, and she spends her life trying to emulate him. And 10 years later, she is trying to be the hero she knows she can be when suspicions are raised about her mother Eleanor's new fiancé Jack. And she comes face to face with her hero.
Oh, gosh. This was such a great episode. And I knew I was going to like the show right away because the costumes start off with a bang.
They really do. And I'm like, Haley Steinfeld, she makes everything she puts on look good. So it's she does. Of course she was going to be top notch through this entire episode. But that suit she wears to the party, I loved it. Yes. I want one.
I actually was thinking, I was like, this is something that Elizabeth would wear. This little Men in Black type suit. That'd be perfect for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the black suit on Kate. I was actually really surprised at how much I liked Haley Steinfeld's character. At first I was like, I don't know. And she was so good.
Yeah, she was excellent. And one of the other reasons I really like that suit is, you see her among all these fancy rich people, and she really does she looks like she fits in with them. But then it's perfectly ambiguous enough that when she tries to be one of the catering staff, it's like she fits right in.
Yeah, it's perfect. I am dying to talk about Vera Farmiga's red gown.
Our favorite, Vera Farmiga.
I knew the second I saw this dress, this episode, I was like, okay, we're going to do this on the podcast one day.
Oh my gosh, that dress.
It's so good.
It's beautiful, and it's very interesting because it's like it's not form fitted at all, but it's also like it's not really like an oversized piece either. It's just very like Grecian and elegant.
Yeah, it's like almost looks like it's kind of like wet, or it just kind of fits her in all the right places, and you can't tell, like, is it period, is it not? Her hair just works perfectly with it. It's just it's such a fashion moment. I would just be, if I were the costume designer, I'd be so proud of this moment right here. It's so good.
I know. He really did an excellent job with her. It's like you knew exactly what you were doing. And then also we have Jack looking so dapper.
So dapper. What an interesting character. Yeah, he's really giving that like smoking a cigar type of like rich man who collects swords vibe with his costume.
Truly. But an outfit I was not expecting to see in this first episode was the Ronin suit.
Yes, I was tripped out when I saw the Ronin suit. I was like, uh-oh, that's about to be a dark show.
Right?
Because you're very tripped up by like all the like Christmas decor and Christmas music. You're like, oh, like this will be a cute, cheerful show. And then you see the Ronin suit and you're like, uh-oh.
I know. It's so wild because it's like she goes down to the wine cellar where they're having this like illegal auction.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And the tracksuits just like bust through the wall and like things are going crazy. And she's just like, well, I guess I'll put this on and beat some guys up.
Right.
Which I gotta say, I was really surprised when she actually started like beating those guys up. I was like, oh, you really did train to be a superhero.
Yeah, day one, she saw Loki and she was like, all right, time to beef up, you know? I just gotta be ready in case he shows back up. What I appreciate the most about Kate wearing the Ronin costume, this is something I really like, is that it wasn't fitting her at all.
Yes.
You know, it was like really baggy because it's supposed to fit Clint, not her. So like I appreciate that note that the costume was like, you know, kind of like she looked like a little kid in like, you know, dad's battle armor. And I love that. She still kicked everyone's ass in it, but
yeah. And I feel like it's probably a separate one for her because that's definitely not Jeremy Renner's size. But it's like they took the time to think like, okay, where can we make it look big on her without it being like cumbersome? Because I'm like, she could not have done like any of those stunts in like something that was actually his size. So I really loved that.
Yeah, it's a really good note. And I love the colors of it. I guess I should say I've only seen Endgame one time still to this day because it's so sad and I don't want to rewatch it.
I think I've seen it like twice. I don't know.
Oh, we saw it together actually.
We did.
I just had this flashback. Or was it Infinity War?
We definitely saw Infinity War together.
Actually, it was Infinity. It wasn't Endgame. I'm sorry. But besides the point, I always thought that the Ronin costume was really cool. I like the like subtle purples in it. Yeah, that's I should do Ronin for Halloween. That sounds fun.
You should. It would be fun. What was even more fun was the dog in this show.
Yes, my favorite character. Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog with his eye. He was so cute.
So cute. I love, for those of you who are probably super into Marvel has the series on Disney Plus where it's called, I don't even remember what it's called. It's like Assembled or something. It shows the making of shows.
Called, yeah.
Okay. So there's one for Hawkeye and there's like a whole 5 minutes where they just have the dog who played Pizza Dog and he's just like smiling on camera. And it gave me everything I needed to get out of bed this morning and do this podcast.
That was a good part of that. That was a good part of that. What was also good was episode number 2, Hide and Seek.
Yeah, so in episode 2, Clint tracks down Kate for putting on the Ronin suit because she literally gets caught on the news. So we all see it.
Yeah.
Not very subtle. He finds that he has to help get away from the tracksuit gang, who think she's the Ronin now. Kate, however, is more concerned with investigating Jack for his uncle's murder and ultimately fails to save Clint from the tracksuits. So things get messy real quick.
Yes, this was like a roller coaster of an episode because it like introduced all the main plot lines. I love, though, when he is trying to retrieve the suit from her burnt out apartment, though. I was like, Jeremy Renner, you look good as a firefighter.
Right. Oh my gosh, she totally gives firefighter vibes. Also, when you said Jeremy Renner, I totally forgot that's his real name. I was calling him Clint Barton. He has like too many names. Hawkeye, Ronin, Clint Barton, Jeremy Renner. Too many.
The man of many names, many, many names.
Right.
Another scene I thought was really cute was like the morning after when they're in her aunt's apartment and she's wearing like this silky nightgown and like fur. I was like, that was so funny. And I wish we had gotten to see like that fully and her like using more of her aunt's like very ridiculous wardrobe throughout the show because I thought that would have been hilarious.
It's funny because like Kate Bishop is clearly like super wealthy, her entire family.
Oh yeah.
But she doesn't take it too seriously though. She's like just putting on whatever. She doesn't actually care. She just wants to shoot arrows and be a badass.
Yeah. She doesn't even care that her mother has to replace that bell tower.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you got bell tower money. Okay.
Bell tower money. Oh.
My favorite part of maybe this entire show, though, was the LARPers. The LARPers.
Yes, because I just to get real for a second. This has been one of my like all-time like bucket list goals I've always wanted to do, like be a part of like a LARPing situation.
Do it, Spencer.
It's just like those are our people, mine and you, like you and I, those are our people.
I don't know if I could like actually like participate in like a whole LARPing day, but I'd definitely go and dress up and just be like walking around, watching everybody fight.
It's so fun. Not for a single second, you know, because Clint Barton was like, what is going on here? The whole time I was just so jealous. The FOMO is just so strong.
I know. And I love the two women who check him into the event because they're just so hardline. Like, excuse me, sir, like, this is a paid event. You need to follow the rules. We don't care who you are, even though they clearly know who he is. Yeah, they like don't care. Like, you got to follow the rules. I love the attention to detail in all the pieces because it's all like very nice. Like, from the guy with, like, the Viking horned hat, all the women. Like, it's all super nice, but it all looks like something, like, you can, like, put together by buying stuff or do in your own home. Yeah. I got, like, very homemade vibes from all the costumes.
It's very Game of Thrones. Loving it. I also love, like, Clint's, like, makeshift armor that they just threw on him real quick. It's, like, clearly, like, a couple pieces of, like, sheet metal.
Yeah.
You know, I'd called it a day.
It's like the stuff they got for people who like drug along like their partner or their friend to participate.
It's so funny. But the Ronin armor actually made it to the LARPing.
Yes, thing. Which is why.
What do we call this? LARPing community?
Yes. A LARP, I think.
A LARP.
It's a live action role playing day. LARP. It did. And I love how he first sees it because, like, this guy, like, Instagram lived the fact that he has the Ronin suit, which I'm like, what are you doing? Because what is he? Is he a firefighter or an EMT? I forget.
One of the two.
One of the two. And it's like, dude, first off, why are you stealing from an active crime scene? Like, that's simply not very smart. And then why are you, like, wearing it on Instagram Live? Like, what is this?
You're asking for trouble, sir.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I just love this scene. I'm just so jealous. It's so well done, too, because it feels, like you said, it feels very natural and real. I'd like the costume designer must have went to, like, something like this, like a Renaissance fair or something, and just, took a fold-out chair and just watched.
You should come visit me this summer. And we can actually go to Philadelphia. You can spend more than 2 hours there. And we can go to the Ren Fair here.
That'd be so fun.
Yes.
I'm so down.
Come visit.
So down. We'll have to tell all our followers to meet us up there too,
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely. But the good costumes don't end there, because you get to see more very fancy looks from Kate and her family.
Yeah, they're serving like real wardrobe looks every single time. From not even just Eleanor, because I mean, obviously Eleanor's just serving every shot, but like Kate, like real quickly changes into like this really nice jacket. So nice.
Yeah, she has this beautiful brocade suit on, and I'm like, where can I get one? I want it. And then I love the scene where like her and Jack just decide to fence for no reason. And I love how Eleanor's like, Jack, you're going to get your ass kicked, so like be careful.
Yeah. She tells them to be careful, and Kate's like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I wasn't talking to you, as in like, Kate's about to beat your ass. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I also have always wanted to try fencing too. I am like having such jealousy issues with this show right now.
My dad took fencing lessons in college, and his favorite story is about the time because he went to college in Philadelphia, and it was a like nice day in Philly, so they like went outside to do their fencing, and there was some kid trying to steal a bike. So the whole fencing class like chased him off.
What?
With like their fencing swords, and like I guess they were wearing everything. I was like, that sounds horrifying and funny all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, he had it coming. I love that. That's so funny.
But I also love Jack's turtleneck and like sports jacket combos.
Very dapper.
I'm just like, yes, sir. You are a man who has not worked a day in your life. Look at you go.
Right. You're just like, I want to not like this guy because he gives me very like standoffish vibes, but you can't help it. You're like, I don't know, Kate. It's something about him. I want to dress like him when I'm older. That's what I want.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, though, Kate is not as successful at fighting off the tracksuit gang. And we finally get to see them in all their tracksuit glory. And we also get to meet Maya, who I'm like, one of the scariest introductions of like a character, just like the red lighting, and she's just like waving them off dismissively. I was like, oh.
Yes. She had like a Walking Dead intro. Like it was giving me like real Negan vibes.
She did. And I like went through this like whole show, and I was like, dang, like she's like such a good actress. Like she killed this role. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. In the Marvel universe, there's like a like anti-hero with like a prosthetic leg. That's awesome. This was her like first role ever.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
And I was like, what? And like
she killed this role. It was so good.
It was so good. And she's doing all those stunts with her prosthetic leg. And like, I was like, girl, you go. I hope we see you in more things.
Yeah, well, actually, she is getting her own spin-off show on Disney Plus.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so pumped.
I believe it's going to be called Echo, and it's just me like following her storyline.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm real hyped. Oh gosh, what's this actress's name? We need to put some respect on her name.
Aliqua Cox.
Yeah, I think that's it. Say it with your chest.
Aliqua Cox. What did you just say?
Say it with your chest. Like you had it right, you know?
Yes, this amazing actress is Aliqua Cox, and we just can't wait to see what else she brings us. I'm like so pumped to like see someone's career starting. It's very exciting.
And I just, I really love like the representation and like bringing ASL to this and like, Lauren Ridloff with Makari and Eternals. It's just, it brings me so much joy and happiness.
Did you see that Coda movie from Apple Plus? It's an Apple Plus. I caught like the end of it because my mom was watching it, but it's about this girl who in high school who sings, and her teacher like really wants her to go to college and like pursue a music career, but she's the only like hearing individual in her family. Everyone else is her mother, her father, her brother are all deaf. and they like kind of rely on her to like interact with the rest of the world because they have a fishing business. And it was so good. And the dad got nominated for an Oscar. Oh. He's like the first deaf ASL person to get nominated.
When was this?
This year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look it up.
Oh, I will. I love that. Moving along, we are at episode 3, Echoes, which I think is a little bit of a foreshadowing to the show Echo, or Echoes, one of those. I believe they start filming in April is what I read today, so that's exciting.
That sounds about right. Yeah, and the beginning of this episode is all about Maya. And after a life of overcoming the world's expectations of her and following in her late father's footsteps, she has become the leader of the tracksuits and believes she has finally found her father's killer. However, after escaping the tracksuits, Clint and Kate continue to look into Armand's death. Armand is the uncle of Jack, who was murdered with a sword, which I don't think we said earlier.
Yeah, right. Which there wasn't a lot of follow-up on it either, but it's fine.
No. I mean, you find out who murdered him. That's the point.
But, like, no one really cared. We were all like, okay.
You were like, oh, yeah, that sounds right.
I loved Maya's like origin story. So good. We just talked about her spin-off show, but I could have watched an episode that was just solely about her. So I'm very excited for this show. I was also so excited to see that, I might mess up his name a little bit, but Zahn McLaren was in this episode as well, playing
Maya's father.
He is such a great actor. I love this man. He's in so many things, including Westworld, and he just, this man kills it every single time. Such a great actor.
He's an incredible actor. And this whole storyline, seeing Maya from when she's a child to, the moment her father is murdered by the Ronin, it's so like beautiful and heartbreaking. That is actually Aliqua's cousin who plays her young self. Isn't that adorable?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cute.
But this is an incredible scenes. And I also love when her father is being murdered, she's in this like leather jacket. And it's so cool because you get to see her wearing it later. And she's added, when she's talking to Clint and Kate, she's added her father's tattoo, like as like an applique onto it. And I'm like, that is so cool and like not something that's ever pointed out or you would notice, but it's such a cool little detail.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love the attention to detail. Now we get to talk about the tracksuit gang. My favorite little gang. I love these characters because they're from the comics. Mm-hmm. And when I think of like these characters, I'm like, that's really cheesy. But like the way they did it though, it still like came off like as kind of like scary and real,
Yeah.
And the costumes really lent to that.
They did. And Michael Crow talked about this in Assembled because they really had to think a lot about the tracksuits and like how they wanted them to look. He said first they thought about like, oh, it would just be, kind of thrown together. Everybody had whatever, tracksuits they could buy or find. And they were like, that was like a little bit too like chaotic. They wanted them to be much more like unified and actually like look like a cohesive gang. So they tried lots of different colors, like lots of different styles. And I think settling on the red tracksuits was brilliant.
Yes, it's so fun.
Because it's like when you see them all together, it's kind of menacing.
Yeah.
But just like alone, it's kind of just like, this isn't the 2000s. Why are you wearing a tracksuit, sir?
Right. But I also love how like it gives them the option to kind of like pair it with different things, like some of them are wearing a black jacket. So like one of the characters is wearing like a trench coat over it. So it's just, they're able to pair it. So they still have their own personalities with the tracksuit, but it's still all very uniform. They did it in a really, really great way. They
did. And another great thing they did was Kate's archery suit,
yes,
which she wears throughout a lot of the show. And I love it because it's like clearly custom made for her because as previously stated, they have bell tower money. It's clearly like specifically made for her, and she made
I want bell tower money.
Don't we all? It's clearly inspired by Hawkeye. It's the purple with like all sorts of cool geometric, like lines and cutouts, and it's just like, Clint, clearly this girl is obsessed with you even more than you know. Maybe be a little bit nicer to her.
Yes, but I love the use of the purple though too. That's such a great note because it's still like very from the comics. We'll get into it a little bit later in the finale episode, but yeah, the use of purple for Kate and Hawkeye's character, it's subtle, but it's chef's kiss is just right.
Chef's kiss.
Right where it needs to be.
Absolutely. Also, right where it needs to be is Kate's outerwear. I just have to say that because, yet again, we have a coat that I need to own. So I'm putting it out there. Michael Crow, if you could just let me know where you bought the majority of your pieces for Kate Bishop.
Yes.
DM me on Instagram. Send me an email. The Art of Costume, you can contact us directly.
We're going to tag him in this a lot. Where is the outerwear? Also, like her jeans, too.
Her jeans were perfect. I was like, that is the perfect boyfriend jean. I've only found one company where I like their boyfriend jeans. They're all the way over in Germany. I would like somewhere a little bit closer.
A little bit closer to home, please.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna put a note out for Michael after this.
Absolutely. But episode 4, Partners, am I right? I love that title.
That's such a good title. In this episode, Clint and Kate enlist the help of the LARPers as they continue to deal with the tracksuits and investigate Jack. While Clint is looking into some personal business for his wife, which I thought, I was like, really? Do we have to do this now? Clint and Kate run into someone very, very special that I was so excited to see. Yelena, Natasha's sister from the Black Widow movie from episode 5 of our podcast?
Yes.
It's all full circle.
All full circle. It was so perfect. I can't wait till we get to it. However, we have everybody serving some very nice at-home looks.
Yes.
Jack, sporting the fantastic sports jacket with a polo shirt. I was like, every time you see him, you're just like, yes, you are a rich man who never had to work. Yes, this tracks. This tracks.
It's just like, what is your deal, sir?
Yeah.
What are you not telling us?
I do love how he gets all of the sayings wrong, though. That's really adorable.
Yeah, it's something about him you just have to love. We haven't really talked about her yet, but Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
She serves up some looks as Hawkeye's wife. Also, low-key, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent or something. I forgot what she actually was, but they're definitely teasing her storyline because in the comics, she is a character that I can't remember at this moment.
I feel like that was the whole point of him going to get the watch, was just to be like, hey, watch out for her in the future. Which I'm like, I wonder if we're going to get a prequel of how they met and stuff. Because it's how does Clint Barker find somebody he feels comfortable enough with to settle down and have a whole ass family?
Right. Clearly they have some serious history. She must be retired in some way. I'm wondering how they're going to do it in the MCU. But I would just really love to see Velma from the Scooby-Doo movie become a badass superhero. So let me know when that show's being taped.
I had forgotten she was Velma until the other night when we watched the Scooby-Doo movie for your birthday. And then I was watching this and I was like, oh, that's right, she's Velma.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I cannot see her without thinking of the Scooby-Doo movie.
Another adorable part from this is all the Christmas stuff Kate is melting into their night of also trying to figure out what Jack is up to, starting with their amazing Christmas sweaters. I love a Christmas sweater.
Elizabeth, so this do love a Christmas sweater.
This gave me life, Spencer. the giant snowflake with the dog and just one the Santa hat just over one ear, and then his very grumpy cat Christmas sweater. Disney, make these. I'll buy both of them for myself.
They're giving like drunk Christmas party vibes, which is what I love. It's a different type of Christmas party. This is we just had a bunch of pizza and alcohol and now we're just partying.
Yes.
Christmas party.
Yes. Amazing.
Like, what holiday is it? Oh, Christmas, because I'm wearing a sweater. I don't know.
Yes. I also love the amount of purple items Kate has in her wardrobe.
Yes, I need this. I don't know why I don't have. It's like my favorite color, yet I have 0 purple.
Like, I don't know why Clint ever tried to, like, keep her away from all of this. It's like, she's clearly insane and wants to do this. Just let her do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really stop her, Clint. So
No, you can't. I do love, however, the LARPers practicing and all of their, like, active wear. I was like, look at you guys go. Look at you.
I love it. You know, these people are like the best to hang out with. You know, they're a good time. They probably make board games and stuff real fun at night.
Know.
I need them in my life. Yeah, I love watching them practice in like Central Park. It's so good. Can you imagine going to like LARPing practice?
With their foam swords?
Yes,
it's
so
the best. Good. Oh my gosh. Also the best is when Kate is at the LARPers' home and she's trying on all of their costumes, and
that's
like
great.
She's so excited to show her, and she's like, yeah, I put a lot of work into this, and like talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how I sound like when I'm showing my cosplays to people.
It's too real. It was just like, that's me. I love it. This is like my fantasy. Imagine having a closet just full of like medieval garments and armor.
Oh, I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah. That's what I want. That is what
I can provide that for you.
Do you have a closet full of medieval garments?
I mean, it's a mix of medieval, 70s, some fantasy, some Renaissance.
Elizabeth, I gotta get into your closet.
Come visit me.
I feel like you have a lot of things you're not telling us that you have in your closet.
I have lots of boxes of stuff, yeah. But, yeah.
I'm into it. Want to know what else I'm into? Is Yelena showing up. I mean, that is what I needed.
First off, I was so scared when she first showed up, because that is a creepy looking ensemble she has. The entirely, like, black suit with, like, the night vision goggles. I was like, ew, is this some sort of like new super villain? Yeah,
it was giving me like Tom Clancy type, like super villain, super spy. It was giving.
Yeah, it was. And I wasn't liking it until she like ripped that mask off. And I was like, yes, Yelena's back.
Yes, such a good character. Oh my gosh, I wish she was in every Marvel show.
I wish she was as well, but at least we got to see her a good bit in Hawkeye, which we will talk about more when we return from this break.
Yes, let's go. I need more pizza. Let's go.
Yes, more pizza. Always a good idea.
Had a great conversation about nachos.
Nachos, everybody. That's what we talked about during our break. What did you talk about during your break? Costumes, nachos, any other food of your liking? Food is amazing. I love food. We should have a podcast about food, Spencer.
I would love to, as long as we get to eat food while doing it.
I think it's a good idea.
Have you seen that clip from that Adam Driver and Daniel Radcliffe movie? I don't know what it's called. There's a I don't know what it is.
There's an Adam Driver and Daniel Radcliffe movie that I don't know about.
I guess so. I mean, I just know it because of the TikTok sound where Adam Driver and his Adam Driverness, he just says something like, I just had sex and now I'm gonna eat nachos, and like yells it in his Adam Driver-ness. Anyways, I don't know.
That sounds amazing.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Daniel, play the clip.
Can I talk to you about something?
I just had sex. I'm about to eat nachos! It's the greatest moment of my life! Unless you screw it up with whatever it is you're about to say.
It's about your cousin.
She's my cousin. It's like incest.
Amazing.
It's so good.
I gotta figure out what this is. Daniel Radcliffe or Daniel Craig?
Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Okay. What movie? Okay, I'll look it up.
I don't
later.
like.
Anyway.
I just Anyways, episode 5. We're really good at making our podcast episodes talk about everything but the actual movie or show.
Right? Because we get distracted and talk about our lives.
Yeah, well, we try not to talk so much during the week, so we have stuff to talk about on the weekend, you know?
We're also just both hella busy.
Yeah, that too. Anyways, episode 5, Ronin.
Man, what an episode. After her fight with Kate and Clint, Yelena finds Kate just to chat, just to have a nice little chat. Meanwhile, Clint tries to end the tracksuit situation by himself, but after Jack's arrest, Kate goes and helps him out because he needs the help. Meanwhile, Yelena tracks down Eleanor, finds out Eleanor is up to some shady shit, everybody.
I know. Come on. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. No, actually, it made sense. Like, of course, Eleanor was shady. She has bell tower money. How else do you make bell tower money?
Exactly. Honestly, I didn't see it coming, but when it came, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
This tracks.
What I didn't see coming was the scene with Yelena and the backstory of her blipping. I did not need to see that. I was like, I'm not ready for this day to be ruined.
It was so sad. Because ever since, like, the Black Widow movie, I wondered. I was like, what? Like, did she blip? Was she in contact with, Natasha? Like, what happened? And I'm like, this just makes the, like, whole situation of Natasha dying even sadder.
Yeah, I was like, that wound has just barely healed. Why do we have to rip it open again? It hurt.
I know.
I was like,
and it's like, now she didn't just sacrifice herself for, like, the world. She also did it so that her sister could have her life back.
Yes. But Yelena's wearing, her Yelena costume. And I love that she kind of has, she kind of has a vest with all the pockets she likes. It's not the vest, but she clearly, after Natasha went out and did, Infinity War and all that.
She needs pockets.
She got her pockets. Like, that's what I'm talking about. You get your pockets.
I love her and her Black Widow friend. They like enter this very fancy home. And at first I was like, is this like a flashback to when she was still a Black Widow? Like, what's happening here? And then when the woman's like, you thought I was here trapped by some like old rich guy? And they were like, well, yeah.
Yeah, actually. Oh, so good.
So good. Even better though was the costume she wears to go talk to Kate. Her.
When she makes Kate the macaroni, so good. So good.
Michael Crow did an interview with Insider where he talked about his collaboration with the costume designer that created her yellow plaid ensemble at the end. What movie was the end of that?
That was Black Widow, so that would have been Janie Tamim.
Yes, at the end of Black Widow. And he talked to her to kind of like get a vibe on her, whole look. And he said all of that was one-offs, rentals, and vintage. And we didn't have that luxury because we needed photo doubles and we needed stunt doubles. I will say it was a struggle to find those individual pieces. So like, and the Black Widow, that fabulous suit was like beautiful, one-off. Great. He was like, that's wonderful. Not an option here. Not an option here.
I love that. I mean, I've always wondered, because a lot of these characters wear pretty similar costumes, but then they always have like different costume designers. So I've always wondered how that like translation works.
Yeah. And I love that he's like, yeah, of course I talked to her. Like, she established this look. And it's like, he wanted to keep it going and Florence Pugh wanted to keep it going. He also said that for Yelena, it's about finding the right pieces and creating this character that Florence was very keen on, Yelena having her own sense of style. The funny thing is, in our mind, it's not necessarily good style. It's a little over the top, it's a little eccentric, and the way it comes across is she just owns it. And I think that Yelena and Florence really living and owning the costumes make them cool.
Yes.
Which is, he's entirely right. Like, I don't think I could pull off that jacket, but she does.
No, yeah, I mean, we talked about this actually when we did Black Widow, but like, you know, she's dressing up for the first time. She's been wearing what she's been told to wear her entire life. So now she's just having fun. She's just wearing whatever the hell she wants to wear. And like that confidence, like really pulls it off.
Yeah. And that coat, they were only able to find 2 of them online in the whole world. So like, that is a cool, fun.
Dang.
He said it was just meant to be piece.
Yes, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. She really serves a lot of looks in this show.
Another great coat is that brown, like faux fur kind of coat that she has towards the end. And Michael Crow again said to Insider, it was another carryover from her costume from the end of Black Widow that she had lots of enamel pins. One of them is sort of a finger gun, which was the name of the production company for Hawkeye. That's also something that Florence really liked because it's something that Yelena does in Black Widow a couple of times. She thought it was a cool reference to Yelena, and I thought it was a fun nod to the production company. I was like, look at that. Down to the pins thought was put in.
I love it. It's just so much attention to detail of Yelena's looks, and it just made like the wait so much worth it. I mean, we didn't have to wait that long, thankfully, but it was just so worth it. And I really, really hope that Yelena's character really like carries on into future shows. I mean, they have to. She's just brilliant.
She's just brilliant. She was a standout in this episode, and then she's also a standout in episode 6. So this is Christmas.
Oh, wow. This was a great episode. In episode 6, with information from Yelena, Kate and Clint find out that it was Eleanor, not Jack, who has been working with the tracksuits. And, are you ready? Kingpin. I mean,
shocking.
Come on. Then, with help from the LARPers, Kate and Clint take down Eleanor and the tracksuits. Clint has a heart-to-heart with Yelena. Maya finds out that Kingpin was also behind her father's murder and gets revenge. Once Eleanor is in custody, Kate goes to the Bartons for Christmas, and that would be the end of Hawkeye.
Yes, but man, did it go out with a bang.
Can we just talk about Kingpin for a second?
Shocked.
I mean, I was so excited. It was just perfect. He's such a... no pun intended, such a big character in the comics.
Yeah.
And like, it was just the perfect time to introduce him. And, the show ends a certain way, and I really hope it's not what we think it is.
Yeah, same. But, and like Vincent D'Onofrio, incredible at the role.
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
Great. I've never even seen Daredevil, and it's killing me. I'm going to watch it. It's coming to Disney Plus soon, I believe, and I'm going to go back and watch it.
I don't know. It's definitely on Netflix because that was a Netflix original.
Yeah, but I believe they're moving over. At least it did for like Disney Plus Canada. I think it's it was in the news
maybe it's going to
week.
be on both. Who knows?
Maybe. Anyways,
but yeah, I watched the first season, and now I want to watch the rest of it. But I love how like casually dapper he is.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I would put his style.
There's something about him that, like, he's a bad guy, but, like, something about him's, like, also welcoming, though. His, like, charming kind of, like, almost kind of friendly vibe, and the way he dresses, too, especially, like, we'll talk later about his Hawaiian shirts, but something about it's, like, very approachable, but you don't want to approach this man.
He's definitely that kind of person where it's, like, everybody's their friend until they don't like them for the smallest reason.
Yes. Before we move on, just Eleanor's quick little like red satin moment when she goes to see Kingpin.
Yes.
Come on.
I was like, she was so professional. She was so ready to end the relationship, which I'm like, come on, Eleanor. Really? You think you can just like stop this and there's going to be like no consequences for what you've done?
I have never
as
seen...
cute as you look.
I have never seen like an organized crime movie where someone just shows up to said organized crime. It's like, I think I'm actually done.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You run away when you want to be done with the organized crime. You don't go tell them you want to be done. However... What we are not done with is the Bishop Christmas party, which is just full of the fanciest people ever.
Yes. I mean, this Christmas party is off the chain. I'm just dying to talk about Kate's outfits. I mean, that black dress.
Black velvet dress that just like clings to her, but she's got like her combat boots on. Amazing.
It's just so good. It's art. Art.
It is art. It is art. The jacket she pairs with it, perfect. Clint's looking dapper. Eleanor looks beautiful in that lace velvet dress. I'm just like, everybody looks so good. And then, of course, Jack has a sword with him at the party.
Which, I mean, like, that's such a move, you know? I love that.
Right?
He's like, I'm going to show up with a sword. Like, props, sir. I'm here for it.
He's like, yes, I am just right out of jail. And then he insults that small child. I was like, okay, sir.
I love it. You know, they did like an interesting twist to like the swordsman character from the comics, and it just, you know, paid off. And
It did.
I hope we get to see a little bit more of Jack in the future. They didn't really set him up to be like a reoccurring character, but I hope he does, because there's some like solid character development in there.
There's also solid character development for Yelena, who just wears a fabulous green trench coat.
Green trench coat. Great. So good. This is also like this show deserves some more costume design props, because it's just like this green coat is amazing.
Yeah. And like in the elevator when they're standing next to each other, like Kate looks like so serious and like, I'm here to stop you. And Yelena's just like, yeah. Not worried.
Yelena's trying to get this over with so she could like get her Uber back home and order like some chicken nuggets and watch like Saturday Night Live. She's just here to get business done. That elevator scene is probably my favorite scene of the entire show. It is so funny watching them like Kate hits all the buttons in the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, we hate that person. And then, like, their fight where, like, Yelena's, like, dragging Kate's face against the glass. They're, like, sisterly fighting, but, like, in a very, like, intense way. It's perfect. It's so good.
It's like, and it's almost like they're becoming friends. Because when Kate's like, let's just go out for drinks, Yelena's definitely like, absolutely. She that's like a genuine like, yeah, I'll go out with drinks for you.
That's a real yes. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just let me kill your friend first, and then I should be done by like 8:30 if that works for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And she's like, yes, I'm gonna look fabulous and murder your friend all at the same time.
So good.
What I also love is the LARPers being part of the wait staff as their backup for this little mission.
It's so good because like their like server costumes, it really takes them out for a second. You're like, oh, who are they? And you realize like, oh, that's the LARPers. I'm so used to seeing them in full head to toe armor, you know?
Yes. And then I love the scene when they're trying to like, you know, direct the flow of people out of the building. And they're like, we just need a costume change for this. And they change into their new LARPing costumes, which looks so good.
So good. It was so funny. This show is so funny. But something about their armor too felt like upgraded too. Like they knew like this is like their boss battle or something at the end of a video game, you know? Like,
well, remember Kate used her bell tower money to get her and Clint new suits and give them money for their new suits.
Oh, right. Yeah. So this is like their, you know, we're breaching the gates of Mordor. Like they knew what they were putting on.
Yeah. And then we have Jack is apparently a good, just very strange individual.
That's a good way to put it. Oh, so he was a good guy. Okay. Well,
he's still murdering people with swords? Okay.
Yeah. He just needs to be a bit more open about who he is, and maybe we wouldn't be sending him to jail when we have time to spare.
I just love I also love when they're like, what should we do about the sword guy? Kate's like, you should probably get him out of here too.
Yeah. It's so good.
Also, so creepy when all the tracksuit gang decides to show up at this Christmas party. That was scary, seeing them all come out into Rockefeller Center Square.
It was scary seeing so many of them. They really have the numbers. Pretty scary character was actually Kazi, who had really quite the change.
Yeah.
Also, before we get into his character, does he look like Kit Harington to you?
A little bit.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no, that is Farfee who plays Kazi, and I was actually looking him up. He's Irish.
He is, yeah. I heard him speak in an interview earlier, and I was like, "Oh, hello."
Which I was shocked, and then like I was on his website, and he's like a vocal and like acting coach too. But with the pandemic, he's like doing like vocal lessons over Zoom just doesn't work, so I'm no longer doing voice lessons.
Nice. That's very Kazi of him.
Yeah. But I was so confused when like Kazi went bad, because I kind of thought like him and Maya were like an item.
Yeah.
And then like he's just like, no, Maya, I worked too hard for this.
Yeah, I don't know that he necessarily went bad. I feel like he more is just like committed to like, this is what I said I was going to do. This is my job and I'm going to do it. Because even when he, meets his, I guess we didn't technically see him die, but he did have a little bit of a moment where he's like, just so you know, I would really avoid Fifth Avenue because Kingpin's looking for you.
Yeah.
Like,
what is it, anyone?
Oh, the cats are here. Great.
What do you need? Okay.
Do the cats want pizza?
Probably. Yes. I hope we see him again. I hope he didn't actually die. But I gotta say, I love Maya's escape outfit. Like, it's very cool. It's very sleek.
Yes, and I love that, like, she even had, like, her prosthetic leg visible, too. Like, just it's all very badass. She's here to take care of things, and that's what she does.
And talk about badass. Kate and Clint got their new suits on.
Yes. I love this moment because, if you're all familiar with, like, the actual comic books, Hawkeye's costume sometimes is actually quite ridiculous with, like, the overly purple and the purple mask, which they kind of hint to throughout the show. Like, I kept thinking, like, oh, they're going to give him the ridiculous costume. But they went the MCU way and gave, like, a more realistic version of it. And it's perfect. And I love that. Yeah.
And they talked about it in Assembled, where they wanted them, Kate and Clint, to feel connected in the ending superhero suits. They wanted the costumes to feel like sportswear and like they could move, unlike most of the superhero suits, which are like kind of bulky. Also, Michael Crow talked about Haley Steinfeld just like...
Oh my god, that was the loudest meow ever.
She couldn't wait like the 5 minutes for us to be done. Michael Crow was talking about how much Haley Steinfeld loved the superhero suits, even to the point where, like, when they were doing the prototype, she was so excited and he had to be like, it's just a prototype. Like, wait for the real thing.
I mean, that's what we love so much about costume design, though. And who was I just talking to about this? Oh, it was the costume designer. Her name is Cameron Lennox, I believe, from Pam and Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
And just talking about, like, how important costume design is, like, for the actor and actress to, like, step up and, like, put that costume and, like, become that character. And for Haley Steinfeld, like, this was the suit, who was putting on a prototype. I was like, yeah, I'm Kate fucking Bishop, like, that's such a cool moment.
I know. And it's also a cool moment to see Yelena as she actually understands that Clint and Natasha were friends and he did not murder her.
Oh, that was such a stressful scene. For a second, I was like, I think she might actually kill Clint.
Same. I was like, he has 3 children. You cannot murder him.
Yeah, please don't do that to Linda Cardellini. It was such a good scene, so emotional, and I just love seeing the two of them come together. Yeah, but I also love her Black Widow suit that she pulled out too. It's not exactly a Black Widow suit, but it's very adjacent.
Yeah, it is. I feel like it's more like streamlined and more like, yes, I'm an assassin.
Yeah. Which I love that she must have been wearing this under her green coat. She was like, okay, I'm done with the games. No more of this Kate Bishop stuff. I got to take care of this man right now.
Yes. A final yet fabulous look from this episode was for Kingpin, the white suit with the red Hawaiian shirt.
Brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. It's so good. If you've read any of the comics, this is like such an iconic Kingpin look, and they went all the way with it, and they made it feel real, yet just giving the fans everything we wanted, you know?
From the knee-length jacket to the fedora with the red stripe, it was so perfectly put together. However, Michael Crow didn't know till halfway through filming that they were bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin.
Oh my god!
And he had 2 months to prep his wardrobe and only met him in person on the day of filming because he was filming another TV show in New York, so they had to do all of the fittings virtually.
How scary. This is not a character you want to fit over Zoom.
Right? I was like, that must have been nerve-wracking. But Michael Crow talked to Business Insider, and he said Vincent was integral in creating the character, and a lot of the ideas stemmed from what he wanted to do with the character and, you know, things that he had always wanted to take directions. He wanted to approach the character as a little more like down and out and grittier than he had previously been presented in the other show.
Right.
Which, spot on.
Spot on. Such a good costume. I love that, like, this is his, like, action sequence outfit, too, which just shows how badass he is. He's like, I'm gonna mess this girl up in this freaking
Hawaiian shirt.
Suit and Hawaiian shirt, takes off the fedora to fight. But it's just, you know, so good. And like I said, it makes him feel, like, very approachable. And you'd think, like, oh, this is, like, a fun, you know, my cool uncle. But he's like the Thanos of New York City.
Absolutely.
And the so approachable part of him is what makes him so scary to me.
Yeah, fabulous, on point.
He better not be dead. He better not be dead. I hope that, you know, she shot the street or something and missed and let him go.
Exactly.
Which actually feels kind of in her character, you know? She's always seen lots of death that day, so maybe she let him go. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. We don't know.
We're going to be 80 years old being like, is Vincent D'Onofrio casted yet? They're like, he died 80 years ago, Spencer. On Hawkeye. Not Vincent, but
Yeah. But I feel like we need to end with something that is in the first episode, but we don't get to see in its entirety till the end of Hawkeye, is Rogers, the musical number. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I mean,
I lost my mind when I saw it in its entirety.
I would 100% see this show. It's gotten a lot of, you know, interesting comments online. We would all see this show. I don't want to hear anyone act like they wouldn't go see this show.
So, did you know there was a Spider-Man musical?
Was there?
Yes.
Well, clearly it didn't do well.
It did not do well. I don't know if it even got to open. I remember they did a scene at the Macy's Day Parade. I can't remember if it actually opened or not, but they had like so many issues with like the stunts, and like I think several of the Spider-Men got like injured because of the wires and stuff, and it was apparently it was terrible.
I'm gonna Google this. I'm gonna Google the life out of this after this.
You should.
Let's dive into these characters though. I love the Loki they did. It's real ridiculous. The Shatari, they're, you know, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
But our actual Avengers, though, yes, the New Yorkers. But the actual Avengers, though, are ridiculous, and I love it. And people give it so much, like, you know, they're like, this isn't real. Yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be like really cheesy Broadway, you know?
Yeah, it's like they tried to make a feel-good musical out of the events of like New York being destroyed.
Right.
Like.
So good. I cannot with the Thor. The Thor is so bad.
I know.
It's
and
so
I love
bad.
How
it's
he
so
looks,
good.
I love how he looks like the Thor from what was it, Endgame? The like the
really sad Thor.
the really sad Thor. I love the Hulk smash.
Right. The Hulk was just ridiculous. If this was a real play, I would be really upset about what they did to the Hulk. But for this case, it's really funny.
And I love how like they portray Hawkeye as just like the guy that's there.
Right. But I also love how they like subtly did the purple though, because how would these people know that there's a comic book, you know? So that's like a weird kind of wormhole moment.
Yeah.
Tony Stark though, to me, is the closest.
Yeah. Well, him and Rogers, Captain America.
Yeah, that's real funny. I love how they put in Ant-Man too. And even Hawkeye was like, he wasn't there. Like,
yeah. And just like the fact that they actually created a whole musical number with like Broadway professionals and like made this whole set. I was like, man, they really thought about this. And it was just like the perfect little like treat at the end of the series.
It was good. I mean, I'll be honest, I was really expecting like a typical Marvel, end credits scene that's going to be like, oh, also in a couple months you're going to see Thor Love and Thunder. But no, it's like, sit back and watch this 4-minute musical number. And I was like, okay, I guess. Whatever you say, Mr. Fahey.
I wasn't mad about it. I was excited about it.
I'm still happy about it, but Marvel's giving us a lot of content. They can't just like fill our Easter baskets every single, episode.
Yeah, they can't. But they're, you know what? They're always going to give us something, which I appreciate.
Well, this was such a fun episode, Elizabeth. I forgot how much I love this show, and I feel like rewatching it again. It's so fun.
I know. It's a good, like, rainy day choice. You know what I mean? Because you can finish it in a day. It's not that long.
It's real short. And also, I think we're going to have to revisit this for the holidays, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Elizabeth, are you ready to play our favorite game?
Let's play it, Spencer. The one costume to rule them all. Are you ready to talk about this?
Let's do it. Why don't you go first this week?
My one costume to rule them all is Yelena's outfit when she goes to chat with Kate after their little battle.
That's a good one.
So much thought was put into it. It also really, like, evolves Yelena's character. It gives her more of a life outside the Black Widow movie. And I just thought, Florence Pugh wears it beautifully. Mm-hmm. She has so much attitude in it. I just thought it was a brilliant way to reintroduce her character.
I'm glad you picked that one. I'm glad we talked about it so much because it was such an underrated moment in my head. And now I feel like it's gained the props it deserves in my brain now. So it's such a good piece. My one costume to rule them all this was the easiest one we've had all season. I knew the second I saw this one. Yes, the Vera Farmiga Eleanor red dress from the first like 10 minutes of the show. I was like, yep, that's you.
She's the bad guy.
That's the one. She's wearing red. You know how I love a red evil dress, which we should have saw this coming. She was wearing red first episode. It's just with the hair and the drape of it, and it's Vera Farmiga. Everything about this is just
beautiful.
It's stunning. It's art.
Honestly, almost chose that. Was very close. It was my second choice, so I'm glad you put it up there, Spencer. Everybody, let us know what costume you thought ruled this TV show.
Yeah.
Spencer, I enjoyed this week's TV series thoroughly, but what are we going to be enjoying next week?
Well, next week, we're going to be watching a Oscar-nominated film in costume design for 2022. We are going to be watching West Side Story with costumes designed by one of our favorite designers, Paul Tazewell from Hamilton. Yes.
So exciting. I've never seen West Side Story. So no, I haven't seen the movie from way back in the day. I've never seen it performed. So I'm very excited.
Oh, this is going to be fun for you. I have seen it. It's been a long time, but I'm excited to see this new version of it. I hear so many great things about it, and I'm sure everyone listening has probably already seen it 100 times, so we're just joining the party on this one.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially because I'm not a big fan of Romeo and Juliet, which I think is why I've never seen it before. But I don't know. I'm excited about this. It looks really, really good.
It has a twist I think you're gonna like. So
okay,
I'm excited. Thank you all so much for listening. This has been such a fun episode. Don't forget,
yes.
we love all of you. Thank you so much for supporting us. And if you want to support us even a little bit harder, check out our Patreon. We just released our Oscars episode, special only to Patreon. And coming up, we also have an episode I'm very proud of, the Art of Costume After Dark episode where we watched The Fellowship of the Ring with a little bit of alcohol.
Just a little.
Just a little. We get into orc costumes and all that. And also don't forget our TeePublic site also, where you could get the Art of Costume Blogcast hoodies, shirts, baby onesies, stickers, all that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. And everyone, if you liked what you heard, please share us with a friend. Sharing us, getting us to a wider audience is an equally wonderful way to help us. Also, if you could head to iTunes and give us a little 5-star text review if you really loved us, that would help a bunch. And thank you all and have a wonderful week.
Go eat some pizza. I know you've been dying to. Everyone,
yes.
Enjoy some pizza.
Enjoy some pizza, enjoy some nachos, and have a fabulous week.
Nachos! Okay. Bye.
The Art of Costume Blogcast is hosted and produced by Elizabeth Joy Glass and Spencer Williams. Our audio engineering and editing is done by Dan White. Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod, or visit theartofcostumeblogcast.com for all blogcast updates. If you want to support the show, go to theartofcostume.com/podstore, or you can head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume for some bonus content. For more costume reviews, deep dives, and interviews, head over to theartofcostume.com, a blog dedicated to highlighting the best in costume design.
Okay. From the snap. And 3, 2, 1. Okay. He'll figure it out.
Better.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, it's okay, Daniel. All
it's
right.
like these guys.
Good energy.